Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Arsenal 2 and Wolves 1. And look, Arsenal are incredible. They're incredible in a good way and they're incredible in another way. But they are definitely setting the standard in the Premier League this season. And I think, look, I'm interested to see what people have got to say in the comments. I think Arsenal, amazing start. Really, really good start. The first 15 minutes. Wolves are a good side. They're a good side. They should be higher in the league. They're not in a relegation battle anyway, but they should have more points. They've been robbed by VAR numerous times this season. Wolves are a good side. And to be 2-0 up after 15, 20 minutes like they were against Wolves, it looked like it could have been, and maybe should have been, 4-5-0 to Arsenal, like last season. And I thought they were so reminiscent at the start of the game of the Arsenal team that set the pace at the start of last season when they took 43 points from their first 48. And I said it on the watch-along, I felt that Jesus was massively part of that last season and hasn't been playing as much this season and was a massive part of it this season. And both goals were classic Arsenal of last season when they were scoring a lot of goals, where it's quick, one-touch football, great movement. And we saw that with the first goal, and we certainly saw it with the second goal. Zinchenko to Jesus to Zinchenko to Odegaard. It was like Arsenal of last season, especially Odegaard, who's not had a great start to the season as well. So I think Jesus, whilst we saw in this game, missed some big chances. He did miss some big chances. He is a big part of how Arsenal can take teams apart quickly with his build-up play. And 2-0 up after 15 minutes. Both goals were really, really good from Saka and Odegaard. And you felt that Arsenal were going to dispatch a decent Wolves side quite comfortably. And then the goal comes, a bit of a mistake at the back. But in the problem is, Arsenal have defended really well this season. And they defended well there. At 2-1, with 10 minutes, into stoppage time, you think maybe Wolves will get a big chance, and they didn't. So I remember this happening with Forest at the start of the season as well. I think they were 2-0 up, Forest got one back, and they defended it out. So you can't dismiss Arsenal and say that, it was close at the end. Well, it might have been close, but they won, and they didn't concede the equalising goal. And I thought that the way that they played at the start of the game and the goals they scored at the start of the game were really good, and they did have chances to make it 3. And if it's 2-0, everyone knows 2-0 is a bit of a dodgy scoreline, but ultimately Arsenal have won that game, and they've won it relatively comfortably against a Wolves side that are always competitive. And I think, as I said, defensively in the Premier League, you're gonna get scored against. If you can keep clean sheets every week in the Premier League, you're doing something amazingly well defensively. And I think Arsenal have done that this season defensively. They've been a lot better. Whether that's the fact that Saliba's and Gabriel's relationship is getting better, or whether Declan Rice in front of them has given them a little bit more, but they are defending themselves to 3 points. I think it's always good to be a little bit disappointed in these situations as well. And I think there will be a little bit of disappointment from Arsenal, because they probably could have won that game at half-time by being 3-0 up, and then it's an easier game. And the fact that into stoppage time, there's a little bit of nervousness there. Maybe they need to put these games to bed a little bit more. But ultimately, they're winning. They're still winning. They're still top of the league. We were talking about it in the watch-along, who's going to be top at Christmas. And you look at Arsenal's next few games and you go, well, look, Luton away on Tuesday night should be easy 3 points when you look at how Luton don't create chances. And then they've got Villa next Saturday. They've got Liverpool just before Christmas. So look, the challenges are there for Arsenal, and the challenges coming up are going to be bigger challenges. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see how Arsenal develop. But what I thought about today was just those first 2 goals that they scored. We haven't really seen that side to Arsenal this season yet. They've been commended quite rightly for dropping points in, not dropping points, but grinding out results. The contrast between the start to last season and this season has been completely different. But I actually think that's a good thing. I think growing into the season for Arsenal is going to be really, really important. And the big tests are going to happen now. They got that result against Man City a few weeks ago, and that gave them a lot of belief. Now, that game just before Christmas at Anfield, but also the game against Villa next Saturday night, 2 big away games where defensively they're going to have to defend well, and their attack is going to have to be better and more fluid. But look, it's no surprise to me that when it's not Odegaard and Havertz, it works better. There was a better balance to that midfield today, and there's definitely a better balance to their attack when it's Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka, which hasn't been played a lot as well. And no surprises, we saw an Arsenal side score a couple of goals that are reminiscent of what they did a lot last season. And the chemistry is there from those players because they worked together well. Do I think Arsenal are going to win the league? Get in the comments about this one. Do you think Arsenal are going to win the league? I've seen some people saying yes. I look at the date. I look at the calendar. It's the 2nd of December. I don't think they're going to win the league on the 2nd of December. And I don't think they're going to win the league when they're only a few points ahead of Liverpool and Man City, who will probably both win tomorrow and take that gap even closer. It's way too early to say anybody's going to win this league. Way, way too early. But what Arsenal have got to do is what they are doing. Last season, they went off like a train and they ran out of energy at the end. This season, they've gone off at a slower pace and been far more pragmatic. And if they're pacing themselves to be there in May, then they've got a great chance of winning this league. But I don't know how anybody can sit there and say Arsenal are going to win the league. You're guessing. If you want to guess, that's fine. But there is no real justification to say Arsenal are going to win the league. They're the best team in the league. Because at the moment, we know they've got to go to the Etihad. We know they've got to go to Anfield, and they're going to Anfield in just before Christmas, which I think will be a fantastic game. So, look, I thought Arsenal were really good for 20 minutes today, and I thought they were going to blow Wolves away. And I don't want to disrespect Wolves, by the way. I think Wolves are a really good team. I know they've got injury problems themselves, and yet I've seen Wolves go to Man United. I've seen them play some good sides this year, and I've seen them play Arsenal today, and I think they've played really, really well. So I don't think this was a foregone conclusion for Arsenal by any sense of the imagination today, and I think it's a big, big 3 points for them. And also, I just want to say in relation to Arsenal, I don't think it's been said enough. The way that they've gone about things this season has been very, very professional. But the way that they've gone about the Champions League, they've had this issue where they've played Champions League games on the same nights as Man United. And Man United have had a lot of shockingly bad results. But Arsenal haven't been in the Champions League for a long time. And they've dispatched teams very, very professionally. And there's no reason that should happen. They haven't got European experience. They've not been in Europe. They're a good team, but they've not been in Europe. And the way they've just adapted to it and comfortably beat so many teams, I think has gone a little bit under the radar. And I think that's the thing that Arsenal are doing at the moment. They're almost going under the radar a bit. And last season, it was like, surely they can't win the league. Surely they can't win the league. Whereas this season, they're just going under the radar a bit and being very, very professional. Anyway, get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. And we're back tomorrow with more watch-alongs. I'll speak to you soon. Don't forget to tune in to United Stand tonight for Newcastle against Man United, 8 o'clock kickoff. Bring it on.